I'm Solis. Subscribe to heritagehiphop.com for exclusives and more.
Welcome back to Heritage Hip Hop, everybody. Now, if you know this face right here, you know this is family right here. This is a family affair. This is my man, I'm telling you. And there's very few people who I can say have made classics in music that have moved me, that I've met while doing Heritage Hip Hop. Please, reintroduce yourself to the people and let's get to work.
My name is Solis. I go by the name of Solis. I'm a hip hop artist, but I like to, say that with this project that I dropped, I kind of like went out of the border of hip hop. I feel like to put a brand on me now is like kind of a restriction.
You're an artist.
Yeah,
You're
exactly,
not just a rapper anymore. You're an artist. And we're going to talk about that because 9 Mile Love EP has been out for a good while. And some people have caught on to it, some people haven't. So it's our job to have them catch on to it. So let's talk about the inspiration for the 9 Mile Love. How did that come about?
It was around this time last year where I had been introduced to this this guy that I know from another friend. So we were in this group chat, and this group chat was full of people that would consider themselves intellectuals, people that think outside of the box or whatnot. So I introduced myself to one of them, and I told him that I'm a rapper. And he was like, oh, you're the reason why, like hip-hop music is the reason why we're trapped, and that, like they don't contribute anything to the, to the community, so to say. In a way that's, he looked at it as if hip-hop restricted minorities to growing in the community. And he was like, if you want to know what real music sounds like, you got to listen to Bob Marley. And I'm heated because, I'm like, yo, you ain't even hear my music yet. You know what I mean? You ain't hear my music, but yeah, you're judging me based off of what I just said. So I was like, word, I'm going to listen to Bob Marley's music, and I'm going to see how I could put that in my music to see if he's going to rock with me or not. You know what I mean? So I went and I listened to Catch a Fire, which I think was like the Wailers' first album or whatever, and I fell in love. I listened to that album and I just kept replaying and replaying and replaying, and I fell in love with who Bob Marley's music was. And it came around this time, like, December, where I was like, yo, I fell in love with his music so much that I wanted to do a tribute to him. And his birthday is February 6th, mine is February 7th. And so I was watching the documentary of Bob Marley, and I found out that he lived on 9 Mile Road, I believe. So I named the project 9 Mile Love. And then I kind of made those songs suited around the vibe that Bob Marley would give, but in a rap form, or at least I tried to. And that's where that inspiration came from.
So did this project not only expand your mind, did it challenge your creativity as well? Yeah.
Well, he challenged my creativity. The guy that was, saying that hip hop was some type of restriction for minorities, and that Bob Marley had music that, raised consciousness or whatever. So I was like, let me try to do the same thing. And that's where that came from.
So let's challenge that theory real quick. Because me and that man would have had a nice little debate.
No, now he's
I got you, but no, I want to challenge that. Because I want to know what you think about it, okay? The gentleman said that hip-hop music restricts the minds of minorities.
And he's not wrong. In some ways, in some sort of way. In mainstream hip-hop, I had this conversation with somebody at my job, and he was talking to me about Blueface. I think that's his name, right?
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah. He was telling me about Blueface, and when it comes to these topics, I get heated because I'm like, how do these people get into the spotlight? And to know that Blueface is like intentionally being offbeat and intentionally doing this, and this is what gets him to where he goes. My coworker was like, he's being different, and that's why he deserves to be in the spotlight. Where my thing was, you're signing people that do dumb shit and then put them in the forefront of the hip-hop picture and be like, this is what rap is supposed to be. And let's face it, the majority of rappers are black, and then now they're only talking about drugs, sex, cheating, you know what I mean? Like all these negative things, guns, violence, and it's like, this is what the mainstream music wants to put in front of you. Black Hispanic people doing the dumbest shit that you could possibly think of and say this is cool, and it's not. So mainstream hip hop, I would agree, because it's run by the same people that run the entertainment industry, that put black movies as black people being basketball players and only hip hop stars and they can't be anything more. You know what I mean? Like, those people that run the entertainment industry also run the music industry. It's all under the same umbrella.
Yeah, and even the way we characterize ourselves, like when there's like minorities and stuff like that.
Yeah. Even though we are the majority, like.
But I mean, I want you to understand another aspect of it. Minority doesn't mean number, at all. I'm gonna ask you a common sense question, and I'm gonna see if we can figure this out together. Can a 7-year-old or 10-year-old buy cigarettes?
No.
Why?
Oh, they're underage. I mean, the minute they step into the store, I'm assuming like you already see that they're
underage. So what do you call somebody who's underage?
Okay.
What do they call it? Say it.
Go ahead.
They're called minors.
Yeah.
So a minority is a child. So when you call yourself a minority, you're calling yourself children. So you're dependent on the system because the system raised you. So when people call an ethnic or racial group a minority, they're telling you, we take care of you bastards, and that's why you are who you are.
Wow, that's dope. I never seen that.
Right, so that's why I'm very, very anti-minority in conversation.
Okay.
But there is a truth to what he said in influence and how do we break it. The outside part of it, which goes to show how dope your project is that when you let somebody raise you and you call yourself a minority, you only take what you're given. Where in every religious book or social movement book always says, you have to take ownership of your own life and go find your truth and then live it. And then finding your truth, you inspire others.
Yeah.
So tell me about the truth that you have found in this project and what made you want to inspire others by hearing it.
I wouldn't say it's a truth because it's untangible. Like, you can't really see it. But the whole philosophy behind the 9 Mile Love, being that it was inspired by Bob Marley, it was the idea that love is the most important thing. You know, where Bob Marley on the Song of War, he talks about, you know, we're gonna keep having war until the color of our skin doesn't matter, until the color of our eyes don't matter, until there's no inferior or superior. We're just, you know what I mean? That was the basis of his song War. And I found that topic in a lot of his songs, where it's like, love is the most important thing. And when I would sit down and I was reading these books that also helped inspire some of the songs, I came to the conclusion that maybe God, whatever we want to call God, is in actuality physically love. And that's the philosophy that I try to place behind that project. And that's why I feel like people should listen to it.
I think people should listen to it because it's a growth project. Part of growth is not only gaining experience and getting older and quote unquote getting wiser, because some people get older and still are fools.
Yeah.
Part of growth is that when your ear matures, you get to take in different sounds and different feelings to music. When you're young in hip hop, all you do is bob your head. As you get older, you start to understand, and then you listen like, is this really what I like? It's called pruning your tree. And when you get to something that hits you where it's okay to listen to it, the beats and melodies are hot, and you find that perfect blend of feeling and inspiration, that's when you find real music.
Yeah.
I commend you. On this project, you made real music.
Thank you.
And we're really going to go into it deeply. But before I go into it, I want to ask you this. Adrian Young and DJ Premier are two of the best producers because DJ Premier would take one artist and sample their music, and then that's how Prime got started. So every album is based off of another person's music, and it's hip-hop twisted. Adrian Young did the same thing, but he's a music saboteur. He collects different genres, microphones, and different types of mics from the ages of hip music. So he'll have you record.
So the sound is different.
Exactly. He'll have you record on like Frank Sinatra's type mic that you hold under your arm, and then they have a hanging mic, and then he'll have a regular booth mic.
That's dope.
Since doing this project, are you now grooming yourself to say, okay, I've heard Bob Marley. Let me get some of Nina Simone. Let me get some Celia Cruz. Let me get something that's from different genres that now, let me see how they inspire me to go to my next better self and be musically inclined to produce as well.
Yeah. Well, I produced a couple tracks, but not enough to say that I'm a producer.
Okay.
So like on the first EP, the Good People EP, I produced Silence, which
Great
if you
song.
listen to that, it's like basically a synth and a bass. Like that was it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I produced the song Imperfect on Jay Wonder's last mixtape. I think it was Imperfect Human.
Yes, great.
I
Release.
produced that one.
Mhm.
And after that, it was like I couldn't touch the beat production no more. But in terms of going out in other genres,
Mhm.
after hearing Bob Marley, I've always enjoyed music, period.
Mm-hmm.
It was just going out and reaching and trying to search for more music. So after Bob Marley, I was like, wow, I need to do more searching. And I recently was like dabbling in jazz, and I found a man named J.D. Allen. You know who that is? No words, no nothing. It's just like the trumpet and the regular jazz, music. And I fell in love. And also the internet. I just recently started listening to the internet.
Oh, Sid the Kid and them? They are incredible. They are incredible.
Yeah, exactly.
Band, yes.
And a lot of R&B. I mean, R&B is typically like the secondary genre of music when you're listening to hip hop or you make hip hop music. R&B is there when it comes to influence.
Okay.
But just expanding. Also, going into the music of Puerto Rico. Like I've been listening to the Jibaro songs from way back.
Nice.
And just seeing how I would like to use that in future projects. Samples, their hooks. I'd love to incorporate that.
Okay.